Now come closer and hear these words from the book of Romans. Behind and underneath all this, there is a holy, God-planted, God-tended root. If the primary root of the tree is holy, there's bound to be some holy fruit. Some of the tree's branches were pruned, and you wild olive shoots were grafted in. Yet the fact that you are now fed by that rich and holy root gives you no cause to crow over the pruned branches. Remember, you aren't feeding the root. The root is feeding you. Here ends the reading. Thanks be to God. When I was in elementary school, we did a science experiment where we put some dirt in a clear cup. Then we put some seeds down the side of the cup with our pencils and took them home to care for them so we could see how the roots formed and how the seeds sprouted into beautiful flowers. I thought it was pretty wild that anything good could come from being in the dirt, because I had learned through the years that nothing good came from dirt. I couldn't play in the dirt, I couldn't get dirty, and if it rained, the dirt turned to mud, and that was an even bigger mess, which I definitely had to stay away from. But here were these little cups of dirt, nurturing these little seeds so they could grow into marigolds. And every morning, I would climb up onto the kitchen counter to water them and to turn them so all the seeds could have their turn in the sunlight each day as they sat on the windowsill. And that part was important. If they didn't get enough water or sunlight, they weren't going to grow. And the relationship of these three elements, dirt, water, and sunlight, is also important. Because the seeds are in the darkness of the dry dirt, and they depend on water to bring them life. And when they have the life-giving water, they instinctively grow deep roots to keep receiving the moisture, while also growing up toward the light so the sun can feed them even more nutrients. Sounds a lot like life. When we find ourselves in darkness, in the messy parts of life, we need life-giving water to nurture us. And we need some divine light to shine some hope onto and into us. Because right now, there is a lot going on. A lot of messy stuff that requires us to get into the dirt to see what we can grow from it. Because when everything seems a mess, when all we see is dirt, we have to remember that marigolds and trees and flowers and bushes and vegetables and fruit can grow out of that dirt. So many beautiful and valuable things can become all they were meant to be, even if all we can see is the mess right now. But the relationship of these elements, the mess, the life-giving water, and the divine light of hope, are important as well. You see, behind and underneath all this, there is a holy, God-planted, God-tended root. A root that reaches down into the moisture to nurture our souls. A root that feeds us. A root that keeps us sustained in the life-giving waters of love so we can find our nourishment for each day. What feeds you when you find yourself in darkness and dirt? Because like a garden, well watered in the early morning, it is sustained through the heat of the day. What do we need to sustain ourselves through each day? What life-giving water feeds us? What practice or discipline or prayer or devotion refreshes us so we can stay rooted in love each day? And where do we see the light of hope for our future? Where do we see the ray of sunshine illuminating a new growth in us and in our world? Because while the dirt may seem very messy, it is filled with incredible opportunity and potential. Things will grow in the dirt, and things will grow from the dirt of our lives, and things will grow from the mess of the world. Because behind and underneath all of the mess, there is a holy root, a root that wants to grow and become all it's supposed to be. And just like the elementary school science experiment, we have to get up each morning and water it and turn it toward the sunlight. We are active participants in our own growth and in the growth of humanity. We are part of a holy team that is rooted in love and hope. So how do we do that? How do we stay rooted in the love of God and keep our faces looking toward the light of hope so we can become all we are meant to be, and so humanity can become all God dreams for it to be? Well, personal success coach Kathy Caprino says there are 9 core behaviors of people who positively impact the world. The first of these 9 is they dedicate themselves to what gives their life meaning and purpose. These folks have found that what makes their lives and the lives of others positive is when there is a purpose to their own life. And that purpose usually involves some aspect of turning their mess into a message, meaning using what they've learned as a means of being of service to others. What is the message in the mess before you? Second, they commit to continually bettering themselves. They have an openness to see, learn, and experience new things in order to be a better servant in the world. Is there anything we can open to better ourselves? Third, they engage with people in open, mutually beneficial ways. They are not afraid to get out there and connect with others, sharing their authentic selves. Is there a connection we can make to help water and nurture each other in the heat of each day? Fourth, they invest time and energy, not in what is, but what can be. They observe gaps and mistakes in common thinking and behavior, and trust themselves in their belief that it's time to push the boundaries of what's accepted. They want to effect change because they believe change will bring a better way to live. What norms have we grown up with that have trapped us into thinking we can't get dirty or play in the mud that we need to let go of? Fifth, they embrace critique. The most powerful positive influencers don't need or want to be right. They want to grow and be more effective. They're not afraid to put their work out there for others to poke holes in. Now, this one is tough because no one likes to be critiqued. Yet, if there is a way we can fill the holes of our lives, sometimes it takes fresh eyes to see the things we can't see. Has someone given you some feedback that has some wisdom in it that needs to be looked at again? Sixth, they're not afraid to put their work out there for others to poke holes in. They don't see their knowledge as just some commodity to sell, as a meal ticket or a money maker. They see it as information that has to be shared with the world for its betterment. And they live with the universal principle, the more you give, the more you get. What gift do we have that brings some life-giving water to the world? Because we all have gifts that can be gifted free of charge. Seventh, they uplift others as they ascend. They don't step on others to ascend. Positive influencers want others to grow too. Who has uplifted us in a way that has helped us to grow to new heights? And who are we uplifting so they can grow too? Eighth, they view the journey as the goal. Positive influencers don't take shortcuts or go for the quick buck or the easy answer, because it's about the journey of what they are learning, of what they are experiencing, and of what they are growing. Their ultimate goal is not about upholding their title, their income, reputation, or power, but about new ways to help and share what they know. What journey are you on right now? How is it influencing, enriching, and growing you? And finally, positive influencers use their power and influence well. They are careful and judicious with their words, actions, and behaviors. They operate with heart and care deeply about their leadership and communication process and style and the influence they have. They take it seriously as a special honor and responsibility, not to be flaunted or misused. They act with grace, compassion, and care. How is the power we have empowering others to grow and become all they are meant to be? Because behind and underneath all this, there is a holy, God-planted, God-tended root. And if the primary root of the tree is holy, there's bound to be some holy fruit. The primary root of each of us is holy and is of love. And that love wants to grow into holy fruit so it can be a positive influence in the world, watering people with love and shining the light of hope on all of humanity. May we stay rooted in divine love and heavenly hope, because a marigold can grow in the dirt. Amen.